September 3rd, 2022, I was electrocuted. My name is Leo, by the way. I started a GoFundMe. First off, I want to definitely say is thank you for everybody that has given some items out. Every little bit of that has helped out. It's beyond all reasons, it's definitely helped. My story starts back when I was a tree arborist. I ran my own company under GTA LLC. Get that arborist. I thought it was catchy. I liked it. Started off at a residential location, went up into my basket. I ended up coming in contact with a wire, top of my head, and I woke up 3 days later in the hospital and was a paraplegic at the time. I regained some function back in my arms, working on getting back my legs. I'm currently confined into a wheelchair. I've spent a good majority of 10 months in the hospitals, therapy locations, hospitals, going in and out of that. Through here, I'll probably post to whatever content I'm able to, but at least of my accident. Currently, I'm looking at living in an apartment. So, where you're seeing right now, this is an apartment complex, which actually helps out really nice because it's across the school from where my kids are going, and I'm able to be there for them morning and night. Currently, I'm going through the divorce process, finishing out with my ex-wife, and there's a sense of me trying to get back to the house. There's definitely that. I want to be back there as bad as possible, but the fact being is it's not ready for me. It's not adequate or adapted to me by any means right now. So with that being, I've got so many things in life that I'm grateful for, especially the fact that I'm here, I'm alive, I'm with my kids. Where the electricity did enter and exit my body was of no pure distinguishing change on my features. I do wear a hat now and then. The only time I really don't is if I was in my therapies at locations or I'm at home. As you can see, it looks pretty good and full, but from the back end, it's a little clear, little shiny back there. Due to reconstructive surgeries, definitely had a lot done to me with getting some parts kind of jamboed around or jangled around. They took a section from my back, my lower obliques, and took some skin off my back and my legs, reconstructed the top part of my head, got it all into working order. It's not exactly the prettiest, but it's distinguished. It's one of those. Really, I guess it kind of defines a character, kind of built up in its own way. Uh, the sense of fun that I get with my kids, it definitely ends up being one of those where they'll come around, they'll poke me in the back of the head and be like, is that something you feel or not? It makes it fun because it's just one of those just little banters of what the heck are you doing back there? Get out, get out! I can't feel that. It's not connected to anything. I don't know why you keep trying. Needless to be, I'm gonna try to post a little more frequent, a little more consistently. I think this is a better format than me writing things out. Don't get me wrong, I like a format of writing things and putting it into scripture. I feel like it really gives a good descriptive of kind of the in-depths and more fine-tuning of maybe my words don't match up to where my mind wants to kind of process and go through with things. But nonetheless, I feel like it's still a good avenue. So I'm not saying I'm not going to write more. I feel as if getting a message across quicker might end up being something like this. And if at least to some indication that I've gotten from some other people I've either worked with through my therapies or just met along my travels, they've all given me, I guess, good insight to say that they like kind of how I talk or the way I talk. And I'm not too sure podcast would be the style or the format that I've ever gone through. I think it becomes different when I'm just talking into a microphone. It seems a little bit out of place, out of mindset. Even here, talking to a camera, this doesn't. This isn't my normal function. So I guess more or less I'm visioning it as talking to somebody direct eye to eye, because it doesn't compute very well in my mind to think that, oh, I'm just having a conversation out loud, and maybe somebody will watch, maybe somebody won't. This is this is new. This is new altogether, but yeah, I'm in a very new predicament. I can't keep beating the same old drum. I'm probably never going to get back to physical labor by any means, but I've got a lot of ideas I'd like to try to produce and get going. The amounts that people have donated to me for the GoFundMe has been, it's been very impactful, to say the least. That I've been able to pay off a card. It wasn't a high amount, but it was a good card. I got out of the way. No interest occurred on it. I was able to get my kids some gifts for the Christmas season past. Able to do a small birthday party for my daughter. I always do feel bad because hers being in the wintertime, it's a fun little predicament of her birthday is my birthday, and being in the wintertime, there's typically not the bigger celebrations that we can do, which my son's on the summer side of deals, and definitely with those we can always have in the past gone out with pretty large parties, and just seems easier to get I guess things all together, or you know eh, all the ducks in a row, to be able to kind of get a big party done in the summertime. I've I'm going through this process, this being a quadriplegic, having the hand movements for some degree, but just not fast enough, not quick enough, and I've been able to push myself in a wheelchair, but it's, I guess I was maybe a little too ambitious in the first start of everything, where I stated kind of being as a quadriplegic in a bed of 6 months, I'll have this whooped, and I'll be up and walking. Don't worry about a doc, don't worry about a therapist. We're gonna get at this. We're gonna hit at this pretty hard and quick, and yeah, I'm not worried about it. I'll be up and going. And 6 months hit, and then a year hit, and I wasn't to the point I thought I'd be, where I thought I'd be up running around and playing with my kids. It took a different approach to say that I wasn't going to be up and running with them. But out of that, I think out of that, I've learned a different kind of patience for myself, a deeper patience in who I was growing up, and realizing the faults that I may have done throughout my life to not only myself but my children's, that I need to not become physically better out of this scenario, but to become as insightful as I can to be, for their sakes and my sake. And patience is definitely one of those that has weighed heavy on me over the last solid months. I mean, I've been looking inwards for years, to say the least, but to kind of coherently put it all together into one state of mind, it's a lot to take it all at once. Even besides the fact of being in this state, I think it's too easy for some people to just kind of fall into a lament hole of just torment. And I'm not going to say that I'm above anyone else, that I've been in that spot where I've reflected and thought, damn, this is a hard ticket to be in, but I think if there's any sense of bad juju out there, I'd rather take this bullet than anyone else. I don't think I could bear to see anyone else do this. Yeah, that'd be on its own. I'm doing the physical recovery of a lot of this, my inner self healing and toiling, and I thought I would have had somebody here with me on my side journey for this, my ride or die, if you would. And that didn't pan out. After a month of being back, she decided no, she didn't want this to whatever degree. And that's where that took off to, I guess. There's a sense in life where you look at as much as you can do and much as you do for the other person, that I've broken and torn and quite literally almost killed myself to provide for my family, for my kids, for my wife. And just was never enough. So I can't give somebody that kind of strength. I can only provide them with every tool that I'm able to give. If they can't find that sense to find it in themselves by any means, I can't build up something out of nothing, I guess. Nor here nor there. I'm gonna continue this journey anyways, because regardless on the bigger aspect of thinking I had somebody on my side, I don't have that one. I've got the two. My two kids, my babies. They've excited and delighted to be around and hang out with constantly. We're laughing and giggling up a storm, and kids sprawled out on the floor laughing and holding their guts. I don't put on a front in front of people, and I don't do these items to gain appreciation out of others. I just enjoy being with them. I enjoy seeing their faces light up with all the little things that we do and all the little activities we get through, or the stories that they're intrigued in, or the shows that they're watching that they just have this just a sense of giddy about them that they want to show dad about. Hey, come check this out. I really like this, and they're just exploding with that sense of joy to be able to share an interest with me, even if it's something that I don't understand by any means, or it's completely off the wall, or it's completely random and it doesn't fit my aspect of what I call entertainment. But I know they're entertained by it, and I'd rather be in that sense of interest with them. And I might gain a couple of laughs or chuckles out of it. Sometimes just so random off the ball, I don't know how else to take it. I just shake my head a little bit, laugh, and just like I don't know about you, kid. I'm sorry, but it's just the way that I want to be with my kids, and not only with being with my kids on these moments where they're excited to be with me, but being with them on even some of the harder stuff, on the aspects of school and issues in their life. And I've I've made it a very adamant approach now that in these moments, due to my circumstance, it'd be too easy for me to go into that darker side, into that self-reflecting or lulling kind of phase in my mindset, to say that, oh, I've got it bad, and twist everything into a picture that, oh, I've got it bad, and I don't know why you're complaining about something when I've got it bad. That's not really who I am. It's not who I've ever wanted to be. And I don't want to hold that above my kids. I know from day one when I realized, again, my three big blessings being out of where I got hit with the amount of electricity that it did go through me. I I'm lucky to be alive. I definitely will say that. I'm lucky to be alive. That's my first thing I can take out of a big blessing. Second thing being the amount of electricity that went through my head. It etched out the top of my skull all the way down to the bone, and even some of the bone died out. But the amount was 50% of my scalp was burnt off due to this electrical shock. And that was the top of my head, which right now it's pretty well covered over. Thank my dad on the Gen X for that. But nonetheless, the fact that it could have been my face is definitely one of those that I take as another blessing, because not only am I alive and breathing, I'm able to look at my children, talk with my children, and they don't have to get used to a new face or something completely disfigured or torn or threaded through, some stitch of a Frankenstein put back together to recarve it. So I do thank that for my second big blessing, is I still have the aspect of being able to look, or not have to refamiliarize my children with somebody new. Um, the third one itself being is the amount of electricity that I did pump through my head. Again, blew a pretty good sized crater through the entrance of my head. A bigger one outside my left thigh, and it traveled through every nerve and cell and blood vessel throughout my body. I've got two burn holes in the back of my eyes, into the back of my retinas, where the electricity went through and just popped a little hole into each one of them. I've got some loss of vision in my right eye. The center focal points for both eyes are definitely a little diminished. Left one is just a little fuzzy, but the right one, I use my left more, I guess I can say that. The right one's a little warped. But the just being that the electricity that traveled throughout my body, it seemed to go through my head and not through my brain by any means. So I can definitely chalk that up to a third big one of cognitively not only being alive and able to not to refamiliarize my children with a new face, but cognitively I can still talk to them. I am still myself from before the accident. And then I got to talking with somebody recently on a bus that kind of put fourth blessing out there that I wasn't really too sure, but it actually just kind of surfaced in the midst of one of our talks. And the fourth thing being is a sense of patience, that patience with, I think I have for a majority of everybody. I would sometimes get a little lighter on the hand of my children, um, just being new to this world and being a father. I would say new, granted they are older, so newer in the aspect of patience in myself is kind of more where I'm looking at, to find that sense of inner patience for who I am and what I need to give myself gratitude and leniency towards, to look into my inner self and find that sense of patience, because that will better myself. If I can better myself, I can better everyone or everything around me. And I've always liked that aspect. I've always wanted that sense of aspect. With this accident, I'm going to find a sense of patience for myself. As any journey, it's not over. When you get there, it's still only half the journey. You've got to go back. I'm going to get back. I'm going to get back to what I was doing in a better format of who I am to who I need to be. And if any of you guys want to join me, this is going to be my intro to it. But the ride's not over. I guess this wouldn't be a YouTube shout out to any degree if I didn't say like, subscribe, share, ring the bell. I'm not too sure all the lingo or jargon. But if you care to, just stop by, check out the video every once in a while. You know, if it helps reflect anything, I'm still learning as I'm going. I'm not trying to say I know anything more than anyone else. I simply a student on this earth, and I'm going to keep learning until my final day. Thank you very much. Hi, my name is Leo. I don't know what I'm doing with that. All right.